it. Had a picnic for two, it was fancy. We had champagne on the rocks. Oh yeah, champagne on the rocks. We looked at clouds floating by in the sky, birds flying high in the sky while we sipped on champagne on the rocks. Oh yeah, champagne on the rocks. Don't know where I'm going with this song, no more. I'm lost, don't know what I have to say, no more. But it is champagne on the rocks. Oh yeah, champagne on the rocks. I think I'm done, I'm finished, no more to say. I think I'm gonna just run away with my champagne on the rocks. Oh yeah, champagne on the rocks. I'm done.
Hey folks, and welcome to the channel. Welcome to this evening's live stream. Hit me up in the chat if you can hear me talking right now. Let me know if the sound's off. Let me know if anything needs changing. I am going to have my headset on during this so I can listen to what is happening. So I might be talking a bit too loud at times. Just let me know. Honestly though, hit me up in the chat if you can hear me. And yeah, we've got 4 minutes until this starts. I'm actually really excited. The whole thing with this coming up when it's come up is it's insane. It is insane. So, oh, brilliant. The sound's clear. I literally just muted the mic for a second. I was like, am I talking to myself? Can you hear me? Right, brilliant. Glad you can hear me. Glad we nailed that turkey. So yeah, shoot in the comments what you think they are going to be talking about. What do you think the moral of their speeches are going to be? Do you think that possibly they're now going to act as a bridge between TFL and TR? What do we know? We do not know much, but we'll be treading it together this evening for you folks. And yeah, like always, just bringing it to you how it is, how it's being presented. I just done a post about a coin. I'm not going to mention the coin. You can go and look at the post. It's caused a bit of an uproar in certain places, and I understand that, yeah, that some people may take it in the wrong way. But you need to understand that I've asked them questions directly and publicly, so we get a public response and we actually can get a gauge of what these people are like in public, how they handled themselves, and what kind of response we really get from them. So yeah, I thought it was necessary that we can't always just leave it down to one individual sole entity or a DAO to do this. We all need to be pitching in. And like I always say, there's always going to be more and more burn initiatives coming out of the community all the time. And that's the truth. It'll always be like that, folks, until this job's done. And yeah, I can honestly say that. Oh, wow, I've just figured out I can see the chat in my Streamlabs on my right-hand screen, which is actually really good. So 124 viewers, that's actually amazing. I thought I was talking to around 30 people. So did you all vote on the poll that was put forward? I hope you all did, because I am going to close the poll now and we are going to tally what the results were. Can anybody see what the results were? I don't know if they're going to come through. So yeah, let me know what the results were if you can see them. Let me flick to the live stream, see if it shows up in there. Excuse me. Yep, it's 90% look. So 90% of the people in this stream believe that Luna Classic will hit 0.01 before Shiba Inu will. And just think about the amount of people that are holding a Shiba Inu bag, really putting effort into these burn initiatives that they're doing and really making a difference. And Matthew Perry built his Let It Burn channel solely on this. And that's the exact same reason why we built the Luna Classic Let It Burn channel. So we have that burn initiative forever, or until the job is done. And then, like I said, once that's done, we would then move over to burning another coin like Shiba Inu. I'd be more than happy to help them, seeing as in the devs really do not burn one coin and never have they attributed to any burns. And the burn portals only come about as of recent. So yeah, anyway, let's talk. It's 9 o'clock. This thing should be starting very shortly. So I'm unsure. This is my first time attending one of these on Twitter. So if there is a technical difficulty, I will jump those hurdles as we get to it. So I'm guessing I'm going to get a reminder, possibly. Reminder. We will just sit on that link and see what happens. Okay, join me in my space. Okay. Very interesting. Why is Matthew Perry the man, Tyler Pierce? Because really, he's really transparent with his community. He really strives to get the answers for people. Yeah, that other people can't really obtain those answers. Here we go. Join me in my space. Okay, we want to join. Can we share this? Okay, copy link. Let's go straight for that turkey right there. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Okay, got it. Okay, recorded spaces. Only speakers are recorded. Guests who will speak will be recorded. Ooh. Okay, folks. Well, best of luck to us all. See you on the other side. I'll mute the microphone for now.
Evening all. We're just bringing a few people up. Our host, Dr. Doscoigne, is just coming up to speak. I'll let him introduce this space.
I think I'm on now. Can you hear me there, guys?
Yep.
Fantastic. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, people. Thanks for jumping on the call. Looking forward to having this conversation over the next 60 minutes or so. Basically, we'll just feel out how it goes. If it's productive and it's going well, we might extend it beyond the 60 minutes there. But what I'd love to do is sort of just frame what this is going to be about today. We decided that we wanted to have a call with the community, just have a real check-in with everyone here, everyone who is part of Terra V1, and obviously wants to see it succeed. And we just want to see OC's role within it. How we can have an effective discussion about how us as an OG validator, how we can support Terra Classic, and obviously we want to do so in a way that makes sure that it's good for us as a team and as a validator, and mostly importantly for the community. And so some of the points we'd like to talk about today are around some sustainability, around some of the proposals, the plans that we've got kind of coming up in the future, and any concerns, questions, queries on your end, anything that is going to contribute to the conversation in a productive manner, we do welcome. And so I think we've got Rebel, we've got Zion, and we've got Edwin, who's behind the Orbital Command account at the moment. We are all part of Orbital. I think the Lunk DAO crew might even be joining us at some point, but ultimately we're going to open up the floor in just a moment and begin the conversation. What I'll do here is let's get some hands raised up. Anyone who's already a key speaker typically in these types of meetings, who would want to start conversation, I invite you to put your hand up, and I'd love to just hear just some thoughts and views first and foremost on your hopes for the future of Terra V1.
Really good intro there, folks. I really like where this is going, to be quite honest. So seems like it's going to be a juicy one. Stay tuned. And
I'm not sure if anyone's put their hand up yet. Can you see anything there?
Yeah, we got German coming up.
Go for it.
If anybody knows how to knows how I can put my hand up in the chat, let me know and I'll put my hand up.
It looks like your mic is on, so you're able to speak. I'm not sure, maybe you're on your PC.
Can the rest of you guys see him as a speaker? Because I don't see him up here.
No, I think there was a connecting issue. We've got Deebs up as a speaker.
Hey everyone. Yeah, no, I just kind of queued into this community here, this space, to kind of hear more from the rest of the community, because I think most of us got wrecked on Terra V1, and obviously I'm holding bags here, but with the migration to Terra 2, I really don't see much of the roadmap for Terra V1. So that's why I'm kind of, just trying to key in here and see what the rest of the community is thinking, because, for all intents and purposes, where my focus has been is Terra 2.
Yeah, I think Terra Classic is right now kind of in that stage where, there's a lot of people, including myself, that are still holding assets from that chain and, potentially hoping that maybe in the future there's going to be some value there with some of the assets that we held. I think it's important, though, to understand kind of what happened in the crash and kind of the overall impact that can have on the price of these assets. So, with the mechanism between Luna and UST and the way that works, when UST was depegging and the market module for Luna and UST started being utilized, what was happening was there was a tremendous amount of Luna being minted in order to burn UST, now called USTC. And so the leftover result of that is like billions of Luna Classic that was minted in that process that has left the value of LUNC very depreciated. And so, with any blockchain network, I think it's important to kind of take a look at, the value of the ecosystem in terms of the applications that are built on it, as well as the assets and kind of how the tokenomics of those assets are shaping up and how they can develop over time. When you kind of look at the inflation of LUNC during the UST depeg, it kind of has left the asset in a pretty desolate position. I think it's going to be hard for the asset to kind of recover, but that's just my thoughts because of the overall supply of it. But curious to hear others' thoughts.
Sure, we've just got Dr. Doscoin coming back in. Edwin, are you able to bring him up as a co-host, please? And in the meantime, just trying to bring up
I am currently trying to put that application on my phone, folks, so I can raise my hand and speak. Sorry. Bear with me.
Yeah, unlike most people here, I just bought a ton of it at the bottom and just speculating for what the future might hold. But I know there's one guy on Twitter, like HappyCattyCrypto, who's been kind of leading the voice from the kind of Luna Classic community, and I think he was pretty keen to speak. I don't know if he's here now, but I think he was kind of the guy that was doing a lot of the kind of investigation and diligence as to what's going on with it currently. If he's on, he should be speaking, but I don't know if I can actually see him here.
I'm having a look around, sir. Cannot see him. Is it a him or a her? Or
it's a him.
Person?
It's a him. Yeah.
I'm here. I'm
well,
here.
I mean, listen, you've got the floor right now, so have you got any thing you would like to share?
Yeah, let's just burn everything and become millionaires. That's my goal.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks. So yeah, I mean, thank you for bringing everybody together for this discussion. And just a couple of thoughts. Yeah, I was not, I guess, a Terra OG, and I was definitely drawn to the whole situation by the spectacular meltdown of Luna and UST. However, now that I'm involved and an active participant in what's going on, I would say that there is still a tremendous value in the Luna Classic chain. I mean, even now in my opinion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but even the development now that's going on Luna 2, those same builders are technically also building for Luna Classic because it's the same technology, and it could now, they don't want to maintain that other chain. The value kind of went out of the tokenomics and all that kind of stuff, but all the energy of the community is really in Luna Classic right now. Luna 2, maybe when there's another bull run and there's all kinds of enthusiasm again for the whole crypto space, maybe there'll be a hope for it. But right now, as we stand, the builders are working on Luna 2 and the whole community is sitting on Luna 1. And there's got to be a way to kind of bring them together and to help each other. And there's tremendous, most projects would love to start with this kind of community and market cap. And you have all kinds of coins that have, much bigger supply. And somehow they're thriving and there's a lot of excitement around it. I think that there's a tremendous amount of value to unlock from Luna Classic and the chain. But until utility and staking is returned, that's going to keep developers away. It's going to keep any serious investors away because right now the chain is held hostage. And I mean, that's the proposal of 4095 that was very important. And now it has to be implemented. And of course, we need the validators. all on board, working together to make that happen. But as soon as utility and staking is returned, I think that there's real potential, not just as a meme coin or a speculation. I mean, there's really solid technology. I've only been introduced to Terra, like I said, since this whole thing happened, but the wallet, the station, all this kind of stuff, it's cool technology. It works really well. And there's no reason why it should be discarded. That's just my thoughts on it.
Thanks for your input there, mate. Really appreciate it. With you bringing up 4095 there, would love to actually just maybe talk about the potential consequences of re-enabling the staking and delegation to the existing active validator set at the moment. Anyone who is has some input.
Right, folks, I've raised my hand to speak on my mobile device. I'm using my Samsung headset, so I might sound weird.
We've got a load of people with hands up to speak. Edwin, I think, just brought up Christopher Robbins.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
What's up?
So, basically, I guess from some of the knowledge that I've gathered, over the past week or so, month, we'll say, obviously, we'd want to see the people who were holding Luna Classic before the crash. We'd want to get some kind of justice for them. They lost a ton of money, but at the same time, everybody who bought the crash, this is like a crypto wet dream, I guess.
Okay, folks, we are a speaker now. We're on the speaker board.
You got a bag of X amount of coins, and you're hoping it gets pumped and so on and so forth. But I think the community kind of really just wants some clarification on where are these proposals going after they've been approved. Where are they in the I guess the state of implementation on these exchanges, or other things too that we see. We'll see pictures of Binance moving 5.75 trillion coins somewhere, or is that the users' coins, or is it Binance's actual holdings? These are just some of the things that I kind of just thought of myself, that if we could get some kind of clarification on that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think one thing that's important, I guess, that about this proposal 4095 that is passed on Terra Station is the type of proposal type that it is. So this is what's known as a text proposal, and so when these pass, and kind of the whole idea of like text proposals on Terra Classic, was to basically signal support for an idea, or kind of see what the community's sentiment is around an idea. But the text proposal itself does not, when it is passed, automatically execute like a parameter change proposal would. And so, with this proposal passing, what it's doing is it's kind of showing the community support on Terra Classic behind the idea of re-enabling staking and delegation to the existing active validator set, but it doesn't automatically execute, after it's been passed. It passed, I think, like a day ago or something. And so that, just to provide a bit of clarification there on why that hasn't been implemented, is because of the proposal type there, and the way that works.
So, what do you, what are your, what's your assumption on the whole Binance thing? Do you think that's, it's just obviously pure speculation, unless they were to come forth and say that, yes, these are the users' coins, or no, these are actually ours. Inevitably, it kind of seems like when everyone's backs up against the wall, a mercy burn would kind of just make sense. But I guess we just don't know. Like I said, there's pictures of, Binance did this, but there's no context to it. It's just like, look, this is what it is. But I don't think anybody really knows, because that's a big deal, what they have.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Vegas.
Hello.
100%. I was just going to come back on Christopher Robbins' point there.
Yeah.
There's the Vargas. Can you go on mute for a moment, please?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I mean, there's the whole phrase like "not your keys, not your crypto." So if you've got Lunk or any crypto on Binance, I mean, okay, it's yours, but you technically don't own it. They've got custody of it. So if you want to be sure of what's happening to your Lunk, you need to have it on TerraStation. So that's definitely something we can help you with, because we've got videos on YouTube showing how to set up a TerraStation wallet. And once you get your Lunk onto TerraStation, you've got custody of it. So you don't have to worry about what Binance are doing. Just wanted to put that out there. Vegas, you're up.
Hi guys. Yeah, I just want to say that regarding the 4095 being a tax proposal, yes, I believe that that shows that the community wants to implement something when it's a tax proposal, but at the same time, is nothing stopping to the proposal itself to not be implemented, like the 3568 as well. So regarding the codes, they are being tested, and I reckon that they will be implemented at the same time. One more point regarding the people that say that Luna Classic is dead and Luna 2 is the one to go. I still have it's still unofficial, but this past week I received 3 proposals to start implementing Luna Classic. So they are going to start using Luna Classic as a gateway. Some other ones are going to use Luna Classic blockchain to create a game. A couple of things, and all of them are going to start implementing the burn as well. It's still non-official, but is a nice step on the right direction as well. Yeah, and this is all of the community. Thank you.
We also have HappyCattyCrypto that came up as a speaker.
Hey folks, I'm having to use my phone headset, so if I sound a little bit different, that is probably why. I've had to install the app on my phone, but let's dive straight into it. So I first want to address the Binance coins and them not actually coming out and taking accountability for it being users and it not being users. Or there's just loads of questions left unanswered. As to that, we would like an answer as a community, yes. As to the governance things that people have been saying about how things are going, where it's heading and stuff like that, Terra Rebels are attempting to rebuild the governance, as most of you know, if you follow the content here on the channel. And it's just, they've come together as a team. They are not part of TFL. None of them are getting paid. They have all come together to solve a issue that has been created by TFL. So therefore, they're picking up the pieces that TFL have left. And as to proposals and everything like that that are currently in the works, we have the one parameter change, which is 4080, which did get implemented. And it was a parameter change, so it was set to reach on an epoch of 7.7 days. So we should see that pretty soon, but that's not to set a definite date on anything. So yeah, like I said, just keep supporting the proposals and keep supporting the governance and things like that. As to Orbital Command, I've got a few questions, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so my first question is why did you vote yes to Proposition 4095?
Are we all going to take a turn? What's the running order, Doctor?
I was just going to say, I think Zion's probably got the best answer for that one.
Yeah, you know, I think really what our thinking here was one, I think that because it's a text proposal, we wanted to kind of signal support for just kind of like what it felt like the majority of the community wanted to do here. When we voted, you know, at least from my understanding, I think when we voted, a lot of the votes had already been cast, and there was, you know, overwhelming support for it and very little pushback on the proposal.
I think it's a different one you're talking about there, Zion. You're talking about 4095. 4080 was the distribute 50% of transaction fees to the community pool and increase proposer validator rewards.
Was that what you were asking about, Happy?
No, it's 4095, but I know you folks have voted yes to multiple proposals, correct?
Yeah, so I was referring to 4095.
Sorry, my mistake.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I was just saying, like, it seemed like the community overwhelmingly wanted to support this, and so, that's why we voted yes for it.
Okay, cool.
I'd just like
sorry.
to come in on that as well. I mean, in a sense, it's about democracy as well. Like, if we are a proof of stake chain, then holding these tokens, I would expect as a holder to be able to stake.
Exactly.
It's really important. It is really important that we get the staking back on board, and it was nice to see that you folks have been supporting the community at every turn. So my next question's it's really irrelevant, so I'm not going to ask it. It was actually, do you support Lunar Classic? But it seems quite obvious. My next question is do you know about Terra Rebels, and do you support what they're doing?
Do you want to go, Rebel? I was just going to say that I'm not overly aware, but I think Rebel might be across it.
Yeah, I'm not officially part of it in the sense that I'm Rebel DeFi, you're Terra Rebels. I am in the Discord and have been following some of the conversations. So yes, definitely aware of it. And the one thing that's, I don't know if it's stressing me out, but that I do wonder about is that there are a few different groups. It seems to me that Terra Rebels is the biggest, but there's also another one, Classic Core, and it.
Sorry to interrupt. That one is for you guys. Yeah. So that one is not even open to public. That's not is a private group. It's only for the devs, for key elements of what everyone is doing, and the validators itself. Is that group, the last one that you just said, and I'm not going to say it again, is basically to coordinate the initiative of implementing these changes on the network. Nothing else. It's just noise free, and it's just for that. In terms of the Terra Rebel and other groups like the LCC and others, today we have a small little meeting addressing exactly that instead of a lot of different groups started doing small little things and here and there, to start talking a little more to each other, and we try to move in one way with one flag.
Sure. So it seems that Terra Rebels is the main one for the community.
For the devs, yes. For changes on the, but yes, for the community as well. Of course, they are doing what the community wants, but they are the genius that are doing all the changes on the code. Like before, someone was talking about the 4080 that is a parameter change, but the 4095 and the 3568 they cannot be they can never be implementation of parameter change because the code was non-existent. So Ed, that is one of the genius devs that is part of Terra Rebel, is the one that is coding the two proposals.
Sure, and it seems like there's a few validator groups in, well, 7 at least in there just now, and that may well be going up over time. Back to Happy.
Yeah, we are working on getting as many validators on board, because at the end of the day, it's the validators that make the blockchain move. They do a lot of the work, and they rely on the coins inside that blockchain and everything like that to do what they do. So my next question for you guys is pretty much as, will you continue to That's work, right, Craig. I saw your comment. I saw
Classic
it on the Classic net.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and that's the reason we've had this call today. Because ultimately, as a validator, we it is a business, and we've got a team of, I think, 8 people at this point. It was bigger, but we've had to downsize since the collapse. Ultimately, in full transparency, we lost, like, as individuals of the team, and then also as a business, astronomical amounts of money. And so we're like everyone else, we're trying to bounce back. And so as a business, it makes sense to be profitable. And at the moment, we aren't profitable on Luna Classic. And so one of the things that we want to do is like find out, cool, what's the future looking like for Luna C? How long can we run, this portion of our ship? How long can we steer it in this direction while running at a loss to, before it becomes, something that is just simply not viable. So the whole purpose of this call really is to kind of gauge the community support and figure out what is happening on Luna Classic beyond it just being a token burn chain. I can see that we've got Jimmy listening at the moment. And I think we've just put out Jimmy from Lunkdow, we've just put out a little request to him. So I'll just see, is he going to jump up and maybe talk a little bit about the future of Luna Classic here? I've just got a message from Rebel. Can you see what's happening on the back end there, Rebel?
Yeah, I just sent Jimmy a little message to see if he is maybe he's driving but hopefully he will consider coming up. Oh, yep. Jimmy's coming up.
I've also let Rick up. He's been requesting for a while. Did you have a comment or question?
A comment and a question. Thanks for the opportunity. First of all, I hope a lot of the people on this call, new investors into Lunk now, really view this as an asset, a distressed asset that it's got value at the core, and they don't see it as a get rich quick, buy a bunch of tokens and see it just pump up. So putting that aside, I see it as a distressed asset that's got value from a bunch of different points. And one of my questions from a macro level is, what's the sentiment amongst the legacy developers and validators, having seen the sudden support around the community or developmental support?
If you folks have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. I will try and get as many of your questions across whilst we have people that are in direct connection with TFL. Thanks, folks.
My question is there a shift that initially they were going to migrate, but now they're considering staying because their customers also
shout out to Vegas for showing up to this
see it viable
space time, I guess they call it. Thanks, folks.
Yeah, I think there's definitely multiple ways to kind of look at the situation with Terra Classic, right? And from a validator's perspective, like Dr. Dascoin already kind of mentioned here, we're running our operation at a loss right now on Terra Classic. Even with a significant amount of Lunk delegated to Orbital Command, the price of these assets is at $0.00, right? So we're generating a very small amount in terms of what we could be generating, with some of these other chains, right? And we started our validator on Terra Classic, and we love the idea of decentralized money, and we love the applications that we're building on Terra Classic. I guess what we've kind of seen, to answer your question directly, Rick, is a lot of the applications that were on Terra Classic, seeing that TFL is turning their focus towards Terra 2.0. And
hi there, Kim. I can confirm that USTC is not tied to Luna Classic anymore.
This new Luna token that is not tied to a failed algorithmic stablecoin, and trying to build back the value for a new ecosystem that will ultimately, with the airdrop new Luna tokens, give value back to the individuals that lost and were building on Terra Classic before. And so, we're seeing the applications themselves turn their focus towards Terra 2.0. And so that's kind of been what we're seeing in the validator community. A lot of validators starting to turn their focus towards Terra 2.0 as well, with the value of the token being more valuable. You can run a profitable validating business there, which, obviously, you can't run an unprofitable business forever. And so it's important to kind of take a look at the future of Terra Classic, and also kind of, are there going to be applications built on the chain? Because that, in my mind, like, that's where the value of these networks really are, is in, real use cases. And so the way that I kind of see it personally is, unless there's going to be applications built on Terra Classic that are valuable, then the ecosystem of Terra Classic is not long-term going to be valuable, right? Beyond just kind of a meme chain. But that's my personal thoughts, and I'd love to hear some thoughts from some others. I know we got Jimmy up here as well, if he wants to speak to the burning of Lunk and kind of the future of Terra Classic.
Yeah, hey guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. How you doing, Jim?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, I think like on Twitter, our persona is like we try to have a lot of fun with it, and of course, like we ride the wave.
I think this is Lunkdale speaking,
Lunk,
folks. I think,
and that's all we're interested in. But behind the scenes, we are thinking about the future of like the Terra Classic chain as well. I think like one of the latest proposals is really important to turn the Terra Classic chain back into a profitable, chain for validators to essentially provide infrastructure for. Like I think you mentioned right now, maybe Orbital Command has say like 1% or 1.4% of the voting power, but in reality, like the value of that, Luna Classic is just so low. It's like maybe just a couple $100. So, even if you're generating, 40, I don't know what the staking APY is, like 40 million or something ridiculous. The actual value in absolute terms might only be like a few $100, right? And that's just not profitable on a month-to-month basis. But once the staking gets re-enabled, I think that you could see a large inflow of Luna Classic being delegated and staked. And I think that it could almost become too profitable, right? Like 40 million APY is just absolutely ridiculous. So if anything, we probably need another proposal to scale or like lengthen the Oracle rewards. Right? I think right now it's like 2 years, but maybe we need to extend it beyond that, 5-10 years or something like that, to bring down the staking rewards to be something a bit more reasonable. So, and in regards to like applications, I mean,
yeah, folks, that is the key thing to take away from this right now. They're in the same boat as any other bag holder that's at a loss. Always remember that. It's in their best interest to keep the blockchain going, give utility, bring use back, and really keep validators on the chain. And they are a validator themselves, who are followed by Duquan and Terra Labs.
Today, right? So it's kind of still like maybe like limping along, but the smart contracts that exist there still work, and they, they're still chugging along. So those are some of my current thoughts on the Luna Classic chain. But yeah, keen to hear and listen what everyone else has thoughts going on as well.
Yeah, thanks for your input there, Jimmy. So for anyone that's potentially new to this space, it's worth recognizing that Jimmy was a massive contributor on Terra One, one of the big brains of Terra One. Obviously was part of Prism as well, and made multiple tools that helped people on Terra V1. And so, we value and support Jimmy in everything that he's doing. And, the same goes for all the other protocols that were on Terra that have since migrated to either Terra 2 or Osmosis, which ties in with what Zion was saying before about, us looking at options for going cross-chain, going multi-chain. We are now, as of the last week or so, we're now on Osmosis, and we're looking at a couple of other options, because ultimately, as Zion was saying, we think that the value of the chain really is built around what's the applications built on top of it. I think longevity is the biggest consideration here. And so it's like, okay, cool. We want to support the people that were there, obviously in the beginning. We've been in this space now, the Terra space, some of us for the last, 2 years type of thing. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting the talent and supporting, the builders, so to speak, and that we're also doing what's right for the community, with Luna Classic, which means, which may mean maybe we entertain the idea of doing some sort of burn function ourselves. Like, we don't know. This is all still we're just stewing in this pot at the moment to figure out what's gonna be cooked up. But the fact of the matter is, zooming out, if we were to, like Jimmy said, then change some of the, put some proposals through, so that Terra 1 could be more viable in future, then that may create, that's the sort of thing that may create more of just a belief in it being more than just a meme chain. But there's considerations. It's very hard to just dismiss the damage that has been done. And I know there are many people on this call that have experienced it firsthand, that were there pre-collapse and also lost a large holding of their worth. And so it's, in my opinion, and again, I'm not speaking for everyone at Orbital here. I obviously always encourage people to speak, for themselves. In my opinion, I look at Terra 1 and I'm like, has it been tarnished to the point of, is anyone going to build there? We saw obviously very different situation with the Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, much smaller scale with the DAO hack. But as an example, Ethereum Classic continues to exist, but the value has moved to where the applications have been built, which is Ethereum. So looking at it from that perspective, and looking at the enormity of the, and I know I'm meandering a little bit here, and I'll wrap it up in a second, but looking at the enormity of the task of trying to burn 6.9 trillion lunk, like that's 1,000 billion, and a billion's 1,000 million. That's an astronomical amount. So I look at it and I go, what's the likelihood that we're ever even going to get close to burning that much? And so I'm open to anyone jumping in at the moment who is, has an opinion on that. But the reality is, we
tell them Vegas, tell them
to jump in.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Don't smash that like for me, folks.
Yes,
smash that like for Vegas.
Is an absolutely big amount of long to be burned. Is impossible? No. It's possible. Yeah, it is. It's going to be hard, but it's possible. If they changes and on chain and the third party applications that we are getting some interest as well, they start doing that. It might be that we see some decrease on the amount of Luna Classic in the couple of years or even months. We don't know. But yes, I know that is very, very difficult to do. At the same time, you were saying before that yes, the money, the investors, they move to where the applications are being run on.
You lot are gonna like this one, I promise.
I was having a conversation with one company that is basically they are in the metaverse, and the first conversation that we have on a video call was basically, he was asking, are you supporting Luna 2 or Luna Classic? And I was saying, no, we are the community of Luna Classic. And he just breathed. The guy breathed. Okay, so that's the guys that I want to support, and that's the guys that I want to get involved with, because we have a massive weapon. Luna Classic has the biggest community and the most united community I ever saw in my life. In terms of applications as well, is if you guys see one proposal. Yeah, I already spoke with the dudes. They seem amazing. There are some devs from Ukraine. And the last proposal that you can see that is not even whitelisted is some devs that they want to create a game on the blockchain of Luna Classic. That is showing that they are interested in developing with us. I know that it's not just because they like Luna Classic. It's because they see that it's a massive PR exercise. Whatever. They are going to do the game on the blockchain. They were checking on Ethereum to try to organize on Ethereum, but they saw this big opportunity to launch on Luna Classic. And like them, more people are doing the same thing. And this is going to be a snowball, right? At some point, we're going to have a lot of applications trying to work with Luna Classic. I don't know if it's the ones that we want, but at least it's a start. Thank you.
Cheers for your input there. I actually just had a message come through to me just a moment ago, just for kind of perspective here, that unless you can burn well over 1 billion lunk per day, there's the effect actually is fairly small. You have 1 billion per day would take 19 years. I'd have to double check this to be sure, but this is what's just come through. It would take 19 years to reduce to 1 billion.
Can I intervene there?
Sure.
I really didn't want to speak only about the burn, because I believe, like you said, that this has to offer much more to offer than just a burn coin or a meme coin. At the same time, is a very important process of the whole recovery of the project, because you have to understand the community is hoping that this will happen. When we are talking about 1 billion coins being burned a day, and it will take I don't know, maybe 90 years or even more. That's a reality. You don't even need to do the calculation, because that's a reality. At the same time, someone was just saying that Binance that has 5.7 trillion coins. Personally, I don't even believe on that. I believe that they will have 1.7 trillion coins that they are from the users. Either way, the number of transactions when Lunk was trending was around 2 trillion transactions a day. So if you put 1.2% on that, you will see that you will not burn 1 billion. You will burn 37 billions a day. I know that was when it was trending, and now the number of transactions are decreasing. And plus, we have the counter of the coin, that is, people who are not going to transact so much because it's going to cost them more. At the same time, then you have to understand that the human mind is going to think, okay, I'm going to sell it. No, I'm not going to sell it, but I want to buy it because it's going to increase the value, blah, blah. What I'm trying to explain is, if only Binance was going to implement a burning, and we are, let's say, half of the max volume a day, we are going to still burn 7 billions a day only on Binance. But again, I don't want to transform this in a coin that is just burning. Like you guys say, is a lot more that this project, the devs, the validators, and the community can offer. Thank you.
If I could just add a little bit more to what Vegas has been saying, if that's okay.
Yeah, certainly.
Yes.
So inside the Terra Rebels group, there is multiple departments. One of those departments being marketing, and marketing's aim is to bring retail back, and a lot of other things on top of that. Bringing validators back to the chain is our main concern. We don't care about what TFL are doing up to a certain extent. What we really care about is all of the validators that are on board and not on board, and getting everybody to pretty much coerce of each other, team up, act like that big huddle of penguins that I keep telling everyone about. But what I really wanted to add to this is it's somebody in the group. I think his name's Hoplite, so shout out to him. And it's pretty much a layout of how the tax could work out on a burn percentage scale with the transactions on volume/day. Now, I will post this to my Twitter very shortly after this all ends, so you folks can see it. I will also send it to Orbital Command. And say we have a transaction volume of 10 million a day with a burn percentage of 1.20. That means we'll be burning around 120k a day. That's 840k a week. That's 3.6 million a month, and being 43.2 million a year. And obviously, this is with all of the exchanges jumping on board, getting it on chain and off chain. And he has stepped it up. So then we can look further. So if we look to, say, the middle range of this chart, with a 1.20 burn tax, that's a 1 billion transaction volume per day. That's 12 million burnt per day, 84 million per week, 360 million per month, and then 4.32 billion a year. And it keeps stepping up all the way down to 3 billion transaction volume per day, with a 1.020 burn tax being 36 million a day, 315 million a week, 1.80 billion per month, and then 15.12 billion per year. And like I said, that's just with the really averaged out maths, everything going according to plan and stuff like that. Now, the way that I like to see this at the moment is we can bring utility back to the the ecosystem. We really want to keep Orion money on board by producing possibly a stable coin, which is in talks on the agenda for next month. And it's all things that are being planned. And like I said, they are planning on bringing retail back, and we are working to bring everybody together. Like I said, I'll post this up so you can see it, and I'll hand it back to Orion now. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll add in there that, I agree with Vegas when he says that we have, like the Luna Classic folks have a huge portion of the attention in the space of it. I think they have perhaps one of the largest communities at the moment in the entire
Penguin gang
ecosystem. And, like
huddling up in the
Happy Cat
cold
was mentioning
for
earlier,
warmth.
that we can't do this alone, right? We need collaboration, we need marketing, we need a lot of people on board to make all of this happen.
Yeah, Stephen Brown, the reason why I mentioned Orion was because of the fact that Orion are going to have to leave the chain and set the sun on Orion project. That's why I mentioned it. I wasn't insinuating it was Orbital. Thanks.
Interact and collaborate with all the other chains. Not only, Terra 2.0, but we've got the entire, other Cosmos ecosystem chains. We've got Osmosis, we've got Juno, we've got Secret that opens up a lot more possibilities than just building only on Terra 1.0. And of course, like you guys have probably heard recently, that we've got one of the largest like L2 ecosystem or L2 apps that is coming to the Cosmos ecosystem, DYDX. So they're going to bring a ton of liquidity, a ton of users, a ton of activity to the Cosmos ecosystem that the Terra Classic chain can essentially leverage and find ways to work with. So I would say, for the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole, we're better together, and it's not like it's a fight one way or the other.
Yeah, I'd like to just jump in on that, Jimmy. That is amazing. I mean, I love that sentiment. I certainly fell into the trap of being an absolute Terra Maxi, and as far as my personal finances are concerned, that is why I got so wrecked. There are some amazing chains. In fact, all the chains on IBC in the Cosmos are amazing, and I wish I'd had my eyes open to that before. I can see we've got Danku in the call. I make videos as well. There's lots of educators, not just about Terra, but about the whole of the Cosmos, and that would, I'm not trying to give anyone any financial advice, but I would certainly suggest don't just concentrate on Lunk, your hate of Terra 2 or whatever. Forget that. It is a community. Check out these other chains. There is money to be made, and it's not just about money. This technology is absolutely fascinating. So yeah, educate yourself as much as you can. Orbital Command, that's part of what we do. We like to sort of produce educational content on Twitter, on YouTube, and such like. So yeah, just learn.
If I could just jump in on that, if that's all right. It's as a Terra Rebel myself, what I bring to the party is that.
So this is Rex speaking. He is part of marketing in Terra Rebels, folks, if you didn't know.
And that provides security for everybody that's involved in the ecosystem. And it was fantastic to hear you speak earlier on.
I've also burned. Sorry, I got myself muddled up. I have posted the burn
and what we don't want to do is create a pump and dump. We want
I've posted it to Twitter, so go check it out, folks.
Consistent growth where people feel secure. Think of it a bit like an industrial estate, where you know that industrial estate is going to stay there for pretty much ever. And that's what we're aiming to create.
So that just cut out, or is there anything else to say there? Or
yes, so as part of that, and we've had a discussion here in terms of burns. Absolutely agree with what Happy Catty has said. We've really looked at this in a massive amount of depth. If anybody was to know me, I live and breathe spreadsheets. So we've actually done all the financial planning in terms of the implications of burns, what raising taxes are, what raising taxes does in terms of buying new tokens based on the increasing value of them as the amount in circulation reduces and so on. And we've done all that. And even with the minimum 1.2% burn tax, the future's very bright, I can assure you. And with all the other initiatives that are going on, you know, from this fantastic community, and that's been something
Wise
that's
words
made
from
there. It's
Rex
great
there,
having
folks.
applications.
And yes, his
It's
name
great having a
actually
shop,
is
but if
Rex.
nobody goes in it, it don't matter. And we consider that we're on the high street.
Post penguin emojis if you're in the penguin gang.
Passing trade in this fantastic community. That, you know, as volunteers, we've jumped in to make sure, you know, we protect this community. But we consider as being on that high street that people, you know, that they're just ready to walk through that door. And for them to get to, if you like, Luna version 2, they've got to go through the front door, really, to get onto the back street where version 2 is. And although there might be some applications that have gone there, if you haven't got the footfall, well, it's not a very profitable business, is it? And we intend to keep the footfall, protect them people, and make sure the number one thing is that this disaster never happens again. So that's my 5 pence.
Thank you for your 5 pence there. Yeah, well, technically speaking, it couldn't happen again as long as there's no Luna UST, you know, burn to mint mechanism. It theoretically can't happen again. And it's, you know, I think what I'm taking away from this call as I'm listening to each speaker is there's obviously you know, the people that are part of Lunk, there's a lot of you know, passion, and there's a lot of people who are determined to make it work. What I would love to see in future, personally, is this kind of diminishing of maximalism, kind of what Rebel said before, this diminishing of maximalism and tribalism, because I think that's what got a lot of people burnt with Terra 1 in the first place. Is, you know, we were all, everyone who was around, we were all very much, there's incredible belief around what the future of it was going to be, and there was good reason for that too, based on, you know, the adoption rates of UST. What I think, yeah, if I'm looking at past mistakes that were made, it was around tribalism, and it was around this like certainty, and this certainty that we were going to go to a certain place. And so, yeah, anyway, this is just again another short rant, but I feel that there's a lesson to be learned in the middle of all this as I'm listening.
This is my next question for them, folks. It's going to be a good one. Just wait.
Continue long term with Lunk in the future.
Shout out to everybody showing up to this stream. It's super important.
You know, a bridging between the old and the new, and for there to be an understanding. You know, I think, and this is where education really is a big key piece, an understanding of sort of all aspects of both chains. Because at the moment, I'm not sure if many people from Lunk understand that effectively what's happening when you burn.
And this is exactly what I've been saying, folks.
And burn them to then acquire Lunk and then burn the Lunk, it is essentially contributing to a downward price action of Luna 2 by selling. So in a way, it is actually, you know, leech sounds like a strong word as I'm saying it, but it is essentially extracting value from Terra 2 in the hopes that Terra 1 will, you know, prevail. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, are there other ways we can go about this? Are there other ways where, yeah, just I'd love to have a conversation about that at some point too.
I'm on. I don't know if you guys can listen because I don't see my mic on. But regarding that, burning the Lunk, using Luna 2 and stuff like that, yeah, it's an action that is being made on that sentence. I have nothing against that, but I share the same view as you. I think it's taking it from one side to give to another. At some point, it's going to be the other way around. So the tribes are going to start fighting again. The one thing that I saw about this massive catastrophe, this was that people like the validators, the devs, the community, they are first everyone got a view, and now everyone's starting to funnel the view and start walking in the same way, you know. So yes, the burning effect of the coin. You cannot be just
Hi,
by taking
Michael.
from
Thank
one
you for the
side to give to
donation. You
another
really
one.
didn't need to do that,
But
but
if we can
thank
implement
you.
the burning and
So if it gets
small little projects
implemented
or
on
the
chain
exchanges
and
or burning on
off
chain,
chain, then yeah, it would be pretty
making
huge, to be
sure
quite
that the
honest.
devs, the validators,
Thank you again.
the airdrops for the apps, they are all there. I think this will work.
Thanks for those words. We've got one mega educator up to the stage. He's also a validator on both Terra Classic and Terra 2. Danku, have you got anything you want to add to this?
Hey, gentlemen. I was yesterday in Spaces for a long time from the guys of Say Network, and it was feeling good being back here again, talking to all of you, seeing so many known faces, Zion, Dr. Doscoin, you Rebel, Jimmy, really cool too. Just, it feels home again, so I couldn't hold myself back. I didn't want to click on request mic, but then I said, you know what, let me just quickly click here because I'm very interested to ask the question of what is the benefit in burning tokens themselves, right? I myself never saw any benefit in burning tokens as an action itself because burning token means in the end destroying economic value unless there's a reason for the economic value, which for the Terra Luna ecosystem was the only ecosystem that has ever kind of had an economic value, but in the end still failed, unfortunately, as we all know. And I'm asking myself, why do we want to now keep on destroying value and put effort into something where all the effort could be done or put somewhere else? But maybe I'm missing something in terms of why should economic value be destroyed instead of being redistributed, which is the reason of staking and also a tax fee on transaction, which is then translated to stakers.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think,
Okay.
sorry, Vegas, just wanted to add on that real quick. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of add to that and say, I think it's a great point, destroying economic value. And I also think that really for the network of Terra Classic to have value, it's going to need to actually generate buy demand. Burning alone is not going to be enough. There needs to actually be people that are bullish on the ecosystem, right? People that are not just holders of the token now, but also people that want to buy the token and generate economic value for the ecosystem. And that kind of comes back to my point earlier with the applications. And I think what I would like to see at Orbital Command, Dr. Dascoin talked a little bit about what he would like to see from the community side. I think from my side, what I would like to see is applications signaling their interest in building on the ecosystem. If we see viable essential applications like DEXs and NFT marketplaces and lending and borrowing protocols and different things like that being built on Terra Classic and signaling that they're willing to continue investing their time and resources into building out a viable L1 ecosystem, then I think that makes sense for Orbital Command to continue validating on it. But as a
Sorry for the lack of commentary my side, folks. I'm trying to get a place talking.
Decentralized money. It is a bit disheartening from our side seeing the.
Oh wow, Big Ted, thank you so. You honestly, folks, you really don't need to do that, but thank you so much. Thank you for supporting our work, Big Ted. I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. Thanks.
I think that what we all were excited about.
Big up the Penguin Gang.
That were here initially for Terra Classic was this idea of a sovereign money, and that's what got us all into the ecosystem, and this idea of a decentralized economy needs decentralized money. And so I think from our side, and at least I can speak for myself, what I would like to see is the applications. It's not like we need to come back to this idea of sovereign money for me to be bullish on Terra Classic again, but I would like to see the applications being built on the chain and people wanting to invest their time and resources into it from a builder and developer standpoint, not just from the standpoint of, like Danku was saying, destroying economic value.
What Danku and Yosain were saying, yes, I understand. The thing is, we already have some promises of small but solid new platforms that they want to work with us. And that is happening only by one reason, because we have, more important than tokens, is the community that buys and holds that tokens. And we have them.
the community is on the side of Luna Classic. If you take the idea of burning away from them, they will go away as well. I don't know if I understand very well when Dunkor says that at least this is my view, that I was thinking what he's saying is that is it enough for us to do this and burning the money and then in the end we're not going to have nothing? Let's just move to Luna 2. If that is what you are saying, I really don't share the same view, because I think we should not give up on Luna Classic. We should not give up on the community itself. The community voted for the validators, they voted for the burn, and that was the trigger to make this start again. So in my view, yes, we are burning the tokens. At the same time, we are compressing the value of each
We
token.
can get the validators to install our update, which will implement the burn and staking.
Is going to be staked, yeah, and is going to increase.
Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you folks so much. You don't need to.
Yes, it's going to, maybe will create some speculation, so the market cap might even increase. But this is going to open other doors for new third parties applications. So I don't think we are taking away. I think we are giving away. Thank you.
I don't understand. So I mean, to my understanding, economic, correct me, is supply and demand. And if blockchain technology is interesting, it's because demand is increasing, because we get new applications on the ground, and that automatically leads into higher demand, better price. So if I get you right, you are saying that there is an impossible way forward for higher demand, and you need to squeeze the supply. Because if I'm listening to you and it would be that easy, why did not others come already to the idea that burning token is just a one-way up? And what you're also saying is that people basically are around as a so-called community, as lottery players here, that only care
Sifi has just joined the listeners of this
the Luna community, which I would
live
say
chat
I've
on Twitter,
been
folks. If you don't know who Sifi is, Google it.
People that just care about that piece without having on the other side a long-term goal, which, as Zion just said, disappeared, right? The burn was before, but it had a reason, right, in believing in a decentralized stablecoin. So what is the burn now for? Is it just to pump the price, which would be sad, I think, in the end, right? Because that's irrelevant for blockchain. It's about innovation and demand, right?
I really believe what you're saying is true. Yeah, I don't take that words from you. But if you're going to take the burn, yeah, from the community, you are not letting the race start. I believe that the community wants the burn, but I believe that they want more as well. It's not just that. If it's that, yeah, I'm with you. It's a little sad, but it's not just that. Myself, yeah, I burn. Oh my God, I mine Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, and a couple of other coins for a couple of years. Yeah, and when Ethereum started talking about POS and whatever, I started trying to understand how this technology worked, and I fell in love with that. And then I found Luna. And then Luna crashed, and I was mad. You know, the reason that no one ever burn coins to salute any problem is because no other blockchain have this massive problem like we have. Was 6.5 or 6.7 trillion coins minted in one day. Yeah, so this is not even. I understand that your point of view, but this is not a solution, but is a reaction. What the problem that was happened by a mistake or whatever. Yeah.
No,
so I think
but I think we're mixing stuff here. We need to be very careful. The amount of tokens on the market is irrelevant, right? Because we have supply and demand, and the price expresses the exact amount of market cap that is needed for the supply. If you start like Shiba Inu with 20 billion trillion thousand coins out there, or if you start like Bitcoin with 21 million or with the goal of 21 million, doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how big the figure is. You can also say from tomorrow on, Lunk is just one. There is just one Lunk. You just move the comma to forward, right? I don't think that that's something we need to be very careful here in what should be achieved. and what are the facts, right? And as a matter of fact, also on top, we need to be careful with the technology that is at place here, right? I think DYDX showed now that the Cosmos SDK is interesting, but the Terra ecosystem needs to also be driven by people. And TFL also, I think, said that they will not put any resources more in Terra 1, which is a big problem because it's legacy technology with the COSM-WASM and everything that is also put on top of that. So there are a few topics which need to be very carefully driven if we talk about true technology interest.
If I could just quickly have address a few things that have been said, and I also want to address what Orbital Command have actually said to us that I don't think anybody's actually addressed properly yet. So what Orbital Command is actually saying is that pretty much they want to see not just the community focus on Lunar Classic itself, but both chains. And my point is, what I keep trying to get across to people is that we need to come together. Like I keep saying, like a huddle of penguins, we need to come together. Both coins exist. Neither coin is going away. And as it stands at the moment, like the doodle on my bit of paper, there's two parties stood at either side of the bridge, and neither party wants to sort of. And people saying, yes, burning will reduce the supply, and in turn, each other coin will be worth more on a percentage scale. But what a lot of people need to understand is we also need that use case. We can't just have people buying coins, holding bags, and then pretty much expecting the price to just go up because you're holding coins. That's not what creates value in a coin. It needs volume, it needs transactions, and it needs use cases. And as to the supply squeeze and the burn, I think everybody knows that it's necessary for burns to happen, yes, but it should not be our sole focus or purpose in this. The purpose is to get everybody together, both on Classic and Mainnet, and work together. And like Orbital Command said, it's not good, like people who are pretty much taking liquidity from the Mainnet, putting it onto the Classic net, and then in turn burning it, so to speak. And like Orbital Command keeps saying as well, is that this really needs to work for everyone. Businesses need to be profitable at the end of the day. And people do need to earn money, and that's why everybody is in this space. It's not just for the technology, it's not just for the laughs, it's not just for the giggles. It's because everybody wants to earn money, and that's the bone bare fact of it. But what everybody should take away today, I think, from this meeting is the fact that everybody should go away and think to themselves, right, we really do need to bond together, act like a true community, accept that these things have happened, accept that we've all been dragged through the dirt, and yeah, just get on with it. Everything else has happened. It's not going away. Nothing's changing. And yeah, something's got to give either side of this, in my opinion. And what I would like to see from Orbital Command is possibly acting as that bridge between TFL and the community, if possible. And yeah, thanks for listening to me, guys. Sorry for rabbiting a little bit. Thanks, Orbital.
I don't know which side you right now took. If it's sorry, and Dr. Dogecoin, you take it there, and I also stop on my side. It's like everything that I hear is stop Luna Classic. Let's move on with Terra 2 if there's an interest in the Terra ecosystem. There is no economic value for validators right now to running Terra 1. Why even doing this? Stop the show over there, move over. No new product probably will move on Terra 1 if it can move on Terra 2, on Juno, on Cosmos, wherever it is. Why are projects right now moving away? Because they're afraid of basically not getting neither liquidity nor technology support on the old chain. So why even pushing forward? As you said, if there isn't way forward, and if there is a community, and I would also like to be very careful in saying what is community, because the people that I see, if I've never seen them before, sorry to be now so direct, in any calls, and I see Sephi the Legend, Tundra out there, OIO or Alex, I have my problems in calling them community, right? They have not been around. I don't have a problem with welcoming new people, but if somebody says the community is intact, I would put a question mark there. Like myself, a lot of people lost a lot. People need time also to digest. And I just would like to ask for, be careful with that kind of term and saying that the community is intact or around or asking for something.
Some really good contributions there from everyone so far. So Danko, Happy Catty, Vegas as well. What I want to do just real quick here, being that bridge, for the community here is, I did say that this would go for an hour and would extend it if it's productive. It's still productive, so we're going to keep going. What I would love to do though is we've Vegas, we've dropped off. Happy Caddy, you've had a fair bit of airtime so far, mate. So what I might do is also get you to jump down because we want to give more of the community a chance to have a talk. We've got Shadows and Deebs who have both been
Okay, folks.
waiting
So
quite patiently
I
in line
really
for a
think
little
that was
while
really
now. So
productive. We'll
what
keep
I'll do
listening.
is
We'll keep seeing what's
open up a
going
couple of
on,
spaces
and
we'll let these
yeah,
two speak, and
I
then
feel
open up
like
some more
what I said is
community. But
very
everyone has
important
had
because at the end of the
some great
day,
contributions so far. So thank you so much.
we really
Shadows,
do need to work
I believe
together.
you're
It's
next,
no
mate.
good everybody pulling one way and the other. We just need to bond together to get through this. Both blockchains exist and they will continue to exist alongside each other. Back to this.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Shadow.
Okay. I was with the Loop project that apparently is decamped someplace off of Luna 1. More importantly,
folks, it's very important we hear what other people have to say. Everybody should have a view, and people should be able to express how they feel.
It was one of the places that I really saw.
Thank you, Matthew. I really appreciate it. I hope I've done you folks proud. I hope I got the point across and wasn't rude and was a bit more professional than most and really got our point across that we're a team. We should be a team and we should always act as that team. Penguin Gang, shout out. Smash those penguin emojis.
What the reaction was to people, by the people that were involved in the project. And what I was seeing was that same passion, that same community, that same, let's pick up the pieces, let's make this work. And it impressed me enough that I have bought in, and will continue to buy in. And I'm even more impressed at the fact when I hear Vegas say projects are looking at coming on to Luna Classic. You get a few on, it will build from there. That ecosystem will come back. But it's going to take the dedication and the people that are working. And I've been watching it going on in the Terra Rebels Discord, and I'm impressed. I just want to encourage it to see it continue to happen. I think it's great. You might also want to take a look at,
and that's exactly what I'm saying, folks. This is why everybody needs to be heard and voiced and say what they need to say.
Ninja mine that created pretty well 95%
and the fact Sifi is in the listeners is crazy. I'm hoping they raise their hand and get a speaker position.
And when that came over to Hive, it got turned into a community fund. It might be something you might want to look at with the excess supply, turning some of it into a fund.
Yeah, someone's cat sounds very angry in the background, don't
proposals that will help fund projects going forward. I know that the coin doesn't have a lot of value right now, but we've got to think about the future. That value will come up, as long as we've got the faith and the work to put into it. That's all.
Awesome. Thanks for your contribution there.
Should we bring him? Yeah, Deebs.
Hey, everyone. So I just kind of wanted to offer a perspective on something I've been hearing over and over again, the word community. Donku kind of commented on it. And I feel like a lot of us are losing sight of what exactly how Terra 2.0 started, right? So I think someone earlier in the call mentioned, like, how do we bridge Luna Classic and Terra 2? And to me, that's what the airdrop was, right? We didn't have to get skin in the game in this new chain. Like, we didn't have to bring the community together. But that's what people banded together to do and launched Terra 2.0. And now we're seeing a lot of protocols being built on top of it. So no, does Terra 2.0 have everything on it that Terra 1 did? No. Like, does that Prism right now? Does it have all these other protocols? No. But there are people building towards making it better. It was the whole point of that motto, right? Like, Terra, the community, is more than UST, right? And we still have the community. So I don't really understand that point that we keep bringing up, right? Like, how do we bring that community? The community is still here. Everyone that got wrecked by Terra 1, Lunk that we call it now, still has skin in the game. So, I'm not here to stand in the way of Lunk and protocols being built on it, right? If we see some great value added to the chain other than just burning, great. Like, not trying to stand in the way in that. But I am also kind of having a hard time believing that a lot of the Lunk community members want that, and it's not just about pumping their bags. Like, I've got plenty of Lunk too. I got wrecked. I would love to see it go up in value, but I care about the community. I care about the builders, and I think we kind of got to be patient.
And this is
here,
exactly
right?
why we started the Lunar Classic Let It Burn channel, folks. So we're contributing, so we can say, this is what we're doing, this is what we did, this is how we started it, and we started it to only help the community and not benefit from it one slight
Thank you for your
bit.
contribution too. Zion, want to touch on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that's a really important point. Everything you just said, I think bridging the community through the airdrop, including the concept of skin in the game and how people now have Luna on the new chain, and we're seeing the community is still here. Like this space is a great example of, like, we have a bunch of OGs in here from, it's really like warming my heart after everything that's happened to see a lot of these guys in here, like, Sephi, Midas, Jimmy, Danku, OIO, like all tons of people in here that are, that were on the OG chain that were, believing in the idea of decentralized money and are still around, and are still focused on building out the Terra ecosystem. So I think that's fantastic, and really appreciate you coming up and talking about the importance of community to you.
And just to piggyback off that, I've just noticed Outlet Finance is also on the call, so shout out to Outlet. You guys were building, and obviously everything was just kicking into gear as it all went south. So hopefully, actually, I'll put the invite out to Outlet. If you are able to talk, I'd be curious to hear what you're doing, and if you are continuing on Terra 2 or if you're continuing on another chain, just to if you want to have a quick chat, we'll get you up for that too. I think we've got, who's next? Zeus taking.
Zeus, yeah.
Hey guys. First of all, thanks for giving me opportunity to speak. It's I guess it's an honor to be among you guys. Like someone said, we have like a bunch of OGs here: Danku, Jimmy, Sifai, Midas, Ohio. So basically, I don't know if you guys know, but we are a new validator. So I do have a site I just launched like a couple weeks ago. So basically, it's data analytics. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look into that. So my question is from the validator perspective. Again, we are not in top 130 because again, it's really hard to kind of break into like top 130. But so I guess the question is, I see that a lot of validators for Terra 2, they're offering things like we are going to use the Luna rewards that we are going to collect, and then we are going to use that to burn Luna C. So I'm kind of mixed on that. So I just wanted to see what's the community's opinion on that. Like, is it a good idea to kind of use the Luna 2 token to kind of burn the Luna C?
Well, I think you have the right guy in here to talk about that. We got the burn master himself here, Jimmy. So I don't know, Jimmy, if you want to talk to that point.
Yeah, I think for that avenue to continue to burn the Luna Classic token, it really depends a lot on the success of the new Luna 2.0 token, right? Like, we can only get so many delegations before we own too much of the network. And even if we did say like own 100% of the network, just the amount of Luna that we're burning depends heavily on the staking rewards, the price of Luna, the success of the new chain. And yeah, it's just one avenue across this whole bit, but things can accelerate as long as the new Luna chain continues to accrue value, and this new Luna is, say, locked away, or there's buy demand for the new Luna token. In terms of like overall volume, it's still, we're still just getting started, right? Like, it's only been probably like a month or so, and the amount of Luna that we're burning, or the amount of Luna Classic that we're burning, is just a nominal percentage relative to the amount of volume that's being traded on the exchanges every single day. So people that are worried that we're extracting too much value out of the new Luna chain right now and burning Lunk tokens. It's just at the moment, it's not, it's not making that big of an impact compared to the actual demand and the trading volume for Luna Classic itself. But I just say, like, yeah, we're just getting started, so we really need this new Luna chain to succeed for us to accelerate the Luna Classic burn through the validator rewards. Yeah, so that's like on that avenue. But of course,
as you can see from this person's perspective, it's vital that both chains coexist. And if they did coexist, people like Orion could continue to work the way that they do.
Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, so I guess the closing remarks from my side. Again, it's been an honor to be among you guys, like the OGs. Again, I lost like everything when we got wrecked. So I've been listening to you guys like for more than a year or so, and I learned a lot, especially you, Yusuf, and Zeronomics. I don't know if he's on the call, but yeah, a bunch of different strategies and stuff like that. So finally, at least I feel like I'm hoping that I'm contributing to the community. Like I said, I have the analytics tool right now on Terra, so hopefully we'll just add some more Cosmos chains on that as well.
Did you know, folks, that anybody can become a validator? You just need a dedicated computer that can handle the load of pretty much processing transactions. It's pretty simple.
Another Terra validator, and then we'll go to Outlet. But just real quick, Zeus, you said you had a tool. Do you just want to drop the quick URL for that tool?
Sure, yeah, I will. Thank you.
What is it?
It's ZeusStaking.com.
ZeusStaking.com. So anyone who's listening, jump onto ZeusStaking.com and have a look at Zeus's tool. I appreciate you, mate. TTLG.
Hey guys, Georgi here from TTOG. Apologies if I repeat in any way. I missed the beginning of the conversation. I'll be sure to listen to it. Thanks for recording it. We have a validator both on Terra Classic and Terra 2. I've been studying. I'll just speak to for myself, but I've been studying a lot of the solutions proposed for the revival of Terra Classic, and it gets very complicated and managing all the possible risks and outcomes. And in the current macro environment, I think it's very, very difficult to see a solution that is viable and launch it. The devs are understandably working on Terra 2. We understand that. And there is just not enough interest. And if we get into the bull market from investors, if we get into the bull market, I expect that Terra 2 will grow. And there will be also interest in taking Terra Classic and doing something with it. It may be a little bit controversial, but if you look at what's going on with UST, there's very high likelihood that Terra 2...
People asking on how to become a validator. I'm going to do a video in the coming weeks covering how you become a validator, what requires you to become a validator, and the difference between being an active validator and not active.
At a stable coin, and then what's going to happen with UST? I think that's where it needs to be coordinated, because UST is not just going to be wiped out from Terra Classic.
This is very important as well, folks, that USTC has a purpose.
Also, are the two chains independent? Are they in somehow related, like the burning that's going on from one of the validators? There are some plans like that, but in my opinion, we see a lot of community support for Terra 2 to be sort of self-governed, self-sustained, and then Terra Classic to also be self-governed and self-sustained. And I posted in one of the forums, I envision something like bull market comes or 2023 comes and we have bottomed out, and a proposition comes from TFL, maybe Doe, maybe somebody reputable, like let's say FTX or just somebody big, to take over and take Terra Classic to a new direction. And a lot of community members have expressed the opinion that If the validators on Terra Classic support that unanimously, I think that will organize the community towards that solution. But we need that kind of community support and validator support around Terra 2 launch, right? Everybody was supportive of that. We all rallied. Everybody worked towards that. And we need that sentiment and support towards a new solution. What that would look like, it's very, very hard to tell. One thing that some of the proposals have shown is that if we do something with Terra Classic that breaks it, we may not be in position for like 6 months, 12 months from now, when that solution comes, to have something that is operational. Now I understand that Terra Classic first of all, as a validator, we'll continue supporting it as long as we can. We're barely running at break even now, maybe at a loss a little bit. So we'll continue doing that as long as we can. But there are just a lot of opinions and a lot of proposed solutions. One thing that everybody agrees is that if the validators rally and there is a proposed solution that will give it a face and give it a vision for Terra Classic, I think the community will rally as well, and there will be development and there will be money. I don't see that happening for a little bit of time, maybe 6 to 12 months, and we just need to kind of hang tough. Thanks.
I'm not sure if it just cut out at the end there. It's dropped out on mine, but TTLG, I appreciate your words there. I think one of the last things that you did say was just around, obviously, your validator, your breaking even or barely profitable type of thing, and we had Danko on before. This is a conversation that's happening probably at most validators on Terra Classic at the moment, and so this is why this conversation is really important to have, because ultimately, if the validators don't see a reason to be continuing their operations, then it really does affect the health of the chain Terra Classic and the Terra Classic. So we just want to, obviously, this is the whole point of this conversation, is just to find out where's everyone at, what's the future of it looking like, how do we feel about the chain outside of it currently being a bit of a pump coin chain. So I appreciate your input there too, TTLG. Now, at the very start of this call, I did say that we'd do it for an hour to an hour and a half if need be. We're now at that hour and a half sort of point. What I'm going to do is get Outlet up to speak, because they've been ever so patient also. As I said, they were building on V1, and I'd love to hear what they're doing now. And then we're probably going to start working towards wrapping this up, just so that we can kind of be in integrity here. And, I said it's an hour and a half. It's going to run a little bit over, so I hope that you're okay with that. But Outlet Finance, if you are still there and ready and willing, we'd love to hear what's going on with Outlet now.
Hey, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Indeed,
awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah, well, as some of you guys know, we were literally like days away from launching our wallet on Terra, and we were going to start, really onboarding some more users there. We have about 50,000 total users with us, and almost, obviously that wouldn't have been good if we launched on Terra. So pushing back this launch and doing things in the way we did ended up being, relatively okay for us. We did receive emergency allocation funding for Terra 2.0, and we will be launching our wallet on Terra 2.0 with the same exact product that we
and remember, folks,
promised.
if anybody thinks that Terra 2.0 is in a good position right now, it is really, not. It's in a really bad position, and that's why they needed emergency really airdropped funds. And I know a lot of them because I have high connections through people like LunkDAO and others, but this didn't come from LunkDAO, this came from somebody else, that a lot of them sold it straight away.
In the course of events. And it's just really a shame how things went down, right? But I want to do as best as we can as a company to be by everyone, right, who wants to still enter crypto. and be a part of like this whole decentralized financial movement. So we are pivoting the company a bit. We're not going to be just supporting Terra or Terra products. We're opening up our on-ramp to all companies. To all wallets across all chains and networks. We're directly going to be working with some of the top chains and ecosystems. And we're super excited about the future of, onboarding as many people as we can directly to DeFi. Just so everyone knows, we are going to be essentially supporting, all the top layer ones, including Terra 2. We're literally going to have the cheapest on and off ramp fees, and really still have kind of the same simplistic personal finance application, but be a complete non-custodial wallet as well. So, it's kind of upsetting as the outcome of Terra, but I think it's a pretty big step forward for us as a company to broaden our reach, to all these different ecosystems, right? I think we offer a great service where people can off-ramp their funds instantly. Obviously we hit a couple speed bumps with our development cycle due to the UST crash, but our app is completely up and functional. We're ready to, wheel and deal and give everyone the best of DeFi. We are going to be working with new infrastructure providers as well for the simple outlet account. We did drop our yield in that from 9% down to, a whopping 5%. You can still earn up to 7.5% on stablecoins through outlet, just through jumping through like one small hoop. But generally, right, we're looking to upgrade that by giving people the very best of DeFi across several different ecosystems and working with these teams directly to provide incentives that are essentially risk-free yield, right? And just like, maybe not just like, providing LP tokens in a DEX, but the same type of incentives, right? Where teams give money on over to provide liquidity to their ecosystem. We're essentially kind of changing the front end of the app to really reflect more of like a DeFi app store. And because we have all these different wallets and ecosystems supported now, we're going to essentially allow users to go in and out of any DeFi ecosystem really instantaneously.
See, this is really, really interesting stuff from Outlet Finance, in my opinion. Like I said, both chains will coexist. I've said that from the start. If you always watch my videos, I've always said both coins will coexist.
Someone who just really doesn't care and wants a simple managed account. So essentially, like we have today with a rewards account, or something like we'll have in the future, which was going to be the anchor account, right? Just some really good quality vault. We're currently kind of picking through a couple teams and ecosystems who will kind of power that, but we're going to be launching our Terra wallet as well. I feel like I just kind of went on quite a tangent there, but thank you.
Mate, it's so good to hear that you guys are continuing. I thought that what you were doing on Terra 1 was awesome. And so, the fact that you're on Terra 2 and you're going to be on multiple chains is fantastic. I think that's one of the big lessons that we learned, obviously being only a validator on Terra 1 was when Terra 1 went to shit, we obviously, we got hit really hard. So diversification, everyone who invests kind of knows this, be diversified, be across assets, for safety measures. And so, that's one of the things we're doing too, is we're going cross-chain. We recently launched on Osmosis, and we've got a few other chains in our sites. And I know that, we had Danku R on the call earlier too, and I know that he's gone multi-chain too. But that doesn't mean that we're not still looking at what's happening here at Terra. So, just to sort of reiterate, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at the progress of Terra V1 over the coming months. Look at the apps that are being built there, offer community support where we can, and just look at what's going on overall before we come to any decisions about, what happens with us validating on Terra in the future. This is just a preliminary discussion to identify, get this conversation going, let people know kind of where we're at and where other validators are at. It's not, this isn't an isolated thing. There are other validators who are considering the same sort of, having the same considerations. So we are going to be just keeping an eye, keeping a finger on the pulse, keeping an eye on what's going on. And of course, have some more conversations in future as we start to decide what happens with our involvement with Terra One. With that all being said, this has been a wonderful conversation. Really glad that we've had lots of tremendous input from an array of people. We've had some OGs, we've had some of the new blood, and you've all stuck around. So we really appreciate that. I just want to say thanks for that. This is how communities are built. And so, with that being said, keep your eyes and ears on the Orbital Command Twitter. This is where we post most of the updates. If you're not on the Discord, you can find us there too. Of course, if you are new to this space and you're wanting to receive some education, we have lots of really intelligent people outside of just the Terra ecosystem, people that are across the cosmos and all that. They're all having conversations within the Discord that are worth listening to. So do recommend you check that out. With that all being said, that's pretty much everything from me. I think Rebel, Zion, Jimmy, who else we got here? Outlet still on as a speaker, and of course we've got Edwin behind the curtain at the Orbital Command account. Just want to say thanks for you guys all jumping on. Happy to wrap this up now, and I bid you all adieu.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, folks. So that was a really interesting podcast, or just a team call, where we got to hear quite a lot of things from different angles, from different perspective, and really, like I said, what's take away from this is to it's really down to everyone as a community to just bond together, get the validators all on board, because on top of the validators doing a lot of stuff, they can't do what they do without people using the coin. And this is the issue that Orbital Command are obviously coming forward with, and saying that it's no good them running a non-profitable business, and it's not feasible for anybody to do that. So you can always go back, rewatch this live stream. It will be going up shortly, so please do feel free to go back in. Thank you to all the people that donated during this live stream, and thank you all for coming and listening to everything that's been happening, really. Craig, sorry, I'm not going to be answering any more questions. Live stream tomorrow at midday, folks. Do not miss it. I'll be on for about 2 to 3 hours, and we'll be answering a lot of questions. We'll be covering lots of things that I said here. So I'll catch you folks then. And like I always stay safe out there. Beware of scammers. Beware of doppelgangers. And what do we always say, folks? Catch you in the next one.